Now let's analyze the case of the select statement where we're making use of where clause. So here the select statement that makes use of a where clause can make a selective choice of the fields with respect to column. So here the example is the basic syntax of a select with where clause would be select column fields one after the other, column 1, column 2, column n from the table name where the condition is so and so. So this can be of two types. Like we can make a selective choice of the fields before the from clause, or we can give it select star from table. The star would mean that selecting everything from that every column fields from the table with respect to the condition. So here there are two kinds as we mentioned, selecting all or making selective choice of the fields. So let's analyze each of them one after the other. So first case, it is select name address from the persons where ID is greater than 4. So wherever the ID fields happens to be greater than 4, all the fields from the particular table will be displayed. For example, now if it is select star from the persons where ID is greater than 4. For this particular case, what happens is that each and every field from the particular column corresponding to the ID greater than 4 will be displayed, not just alone the name address like the previous one. So let's take the case of such situation where it happens. We can execute both the queries in an SQL Server Manual Studio and we can analyze how the thing happens. So we can go to share the screen where the SQL Server Manual Studio remains. So we open the database table here, and we can go for the query designer window. Once the table opens up, we can go to the catalog database and open up the persons table. Yeah, you can go for the edit top 200 rows now to analyze the fields that's available. And once that has been done, we can execute the new query window, and we can make the selective choice of the fields by making use of the where clause. So select with the where clause with specific ID value can be displayed. So now the query design window opens up. That means that the person table opens up where we can see the selective choice of the fields available here. Means the entire table available here. So now we can go for the new query window and we can make the query for calling the database name followed by the table name. So here it will be use catalog, go. Then followed by the select statement with the where clause. So the select star from the table name, and that is persons. So here specifically we can give the ID value greater than 2. So that means only 1 and 2 will be available, 3 and 4 will be absent. This only query has been executed. So ID greater than 2. So this table name is misspelled. It's persons. See, only 3 and 4 is available. And for less than 2, we can see only 1 and 2 will be available. And once the query has been executed. So we have to give it 1 is less than or equal to 2. So for the 2 to carry, and see the 1 and 2 both are available. So we can make a selective choice of 2 fields separately by giving 2 debug queries. And one we can give it specifically greater than 2, so that we can see the 3 and 4 available. So we give an execution, we can see 2 tables opening up. The first one is given for 1 and 2, and second for 4, but 3 and 4. So this is actually the select star from table. It's selecting all the fields from the particular table. Now we can make a particular selective choice of the fields where only we can name username and address. So each can be excluded. For the particular case, we have to limit the star symbol. And we have to call up the column field in this place. The column address. And the same thing happens in the second case as well. And you can give an execution. You can see the third and fourth table available. See, and we can give the inclusion of the ID as well, because ID was not included. And we can comment the previous two. See, now the select the choice of username and address is available for ID value less than or equal to 2 and for ID greater than 2. So this is how the selected choice of the fields can be called with the help of a where clause by making a specific choice of the column field for which we need to get the display.